country have torched and twanged, strummed and strutted their way into our lives. And topping the charts these days is Taylor Swift. She's packed a lot into her 22 years, as I found out when I headed to her stomping grounds in Nashville. Taylor keeps turning her life story into lyrics, and those lyrics into hits we just can't get out of our heads.
We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
Once you hear it, you can't forget it. Taylor Swift has done it again. Both her album Red and her chart-topping anthem, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, are already #1 in 32 countries. I joined her where her career really began, in Nashville at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. It's where, at just 14, she signed her first record deal.
Thank you for saying that.
It's also where Taylor recently donated $4 million to fund a new education center.
Thank you.
It's her way to connect with country music's storied past while ensuring the next generation keeps it going strong.
Are you ready?
On display, dresses and items from Taylor's last tour speak now, the top-grossing country music tour of last year. All that glitters, all that burns, and even the flying balcony, all conjured up by the vivid imagination of Taylor Swift. That must be fun, though, coming up with these things that are really going to wow people. That'll make every song kind of an adventure, right?
Going through these performances, it's like an athletic marathon, kind of. When I'm like down underneath the stage and it pops me up like a toaster and I'm like 6 feet in the air. Okay, made it through that. Did the banjo solo. Okay, on to this. Next blocking. Change clothes. Okay, cool. Flying above the crowd. Awesome. Coming out of a bell. You just kind of get into a cycle of it. And it's fun.
Do you ever worry, though, you're going to forget or screw up?
All the
Oh my
time.
gosh, there's so much to think about.
I
And
worry
by the
about
way,
everything.
you're singing and dancing too, right?
Yes. And that's kind of the nature of a live performance. You know, things could go wrong. That's part of the excitement of being there.
For Taylor, life itself is exciting.
Taylor Swift!
She's the reigning CMA Awards Entertainer of the Year and the proud owner of 6 Grammys. It's a crowning collection of prestigious acronyms from ACM, CMT, AMA, and of course, MTV.
Welcome.
How are you? I come bearing gifts
Oh my God.
of the season.
Wow.
Here's a pumpkin for you.
Thank you.
Taylor invited me back to her home in Nashville. I even brought some Halloween costumes for her beloved cat, Meredith.
Oh
Don't you think
my
she'll
God,
look
that's
fetching in that?
crazy. That is insane. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
live by yourself. Do you ever get a little lonely?
Not really. I do really well on my own. I like to watch TV, hang out with my cat, go hiking. It's fine.
Yeah, and I bet it's nice because you're around people so much. It must be nice for you to spend some time just chilling.
It's kind of nice. You're right. There's like sort of a committee everywhere.
Hi. You need a committee to keep her business venture straight. In addition to her music career, she's taken on acting.
Oh, we haven't seen that one.
And turned her cover girl looks into a cover girl contract.
Easy breezy, beautiful blast flipstick from CoverGirl.
There's even a fragrance line.
The beginning of something magical.
Is it enough to be a great singer, songwriter, performer, or do you have to be somebody who can market yourself and actually develop a whole brand?
You become a brand as soon as you sell one thing. So you can either recognize it and embrace it, or you can deny it and pretend it's not happening.
Taylor Swift, the brand, is the charmed evolution of the little girl who grew up on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania, then moved with her family to Nashville to get her big break. A 2-year-old Taylor was singing a classic in this home video, but after receiving a guitar for Christmas, her world changed. Soon, at 12 years old, she would write her first song, Lucky You, and start performing for anyone who would listen. These days, the songwriter's best friend is her iPhone.
I'll get an idea. I don't have time to say to the person I'm with, hey, I gotta go do this real quick. I just pick up my phone, I go to a corner of the room, and I'm like, like just this weird fragment of like melody, a few words, kind of like some beat. Like it's really, you don't want to listen to them. They're weird.
They must be like, what is she doing?
And they'll be like, was that what I think it was? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna write that tonight.
With over 20 million Twitter followers and 35 million Facebook friends, Taylor's a total techie. So of course it makes perfect sense she'd announce her new album with a web chat.
And you told your fans that when it comes to the emotions that you write about, you say they're all pretty much about the kind of tumultuous, insane, and crazy, intense, semi-toxic relationships that I've experienced in the last 2 years.
To put it lightly.
Yeah. Gee, that doesn't sound like a very fun 2 years, Miss Taylor Swift.
Well, it starts out fun. There's always got to be like a little bit of glimmer of good for a relationship to go bad for you to miss it and for you to write about it.
I'm really gonna miss you picking fights.
And write about it she does. With each new hit comes the new guessing game. Is it John Mayer, Joe Jonas, Taylor Lautner, or Jake Gyllenhaal? Which famous Taylor X is the song really about? And is a scarf just a scarf? Or is it a clue connected to a scarf she wore while photographed with Jake Gyllenhaal?
People sort of speculate, they imagine, they think they get clues.
They kind of draw their own story.
You're wearing a scarf in a music video and everyone's like, gee, that scarf looks like the scarf she was wearing when she was photographed with Jake Gyllenhaal, perhaps.
You know,
And, it's funny, right?
For me, the one thing that I keep really close is the identity of who these songs are about.
Is it sometimes hard to get people to come into your world? Because I don't know, if I hung out with you, I'd be a little afraid you were going to write a song about me.
The only time that's been an issue is when I was like going through a really bad breakup with a guy and he's like, you better not write about this. And I'm like, oh, I won't.
Did you?
Yes.
Do you ever hear from these people who maybe recognize themselves in a song and are like, hi, guess what? I really didn't appreciate that.
Well, they don't say it that gracefully or that with that kind of an eloquent tone. If they're not liking what's written about them or what they think is written about them or what they assume and presume is about them, I probably hit the nail right on the head. It's probably really true.
Coming up,
Taylor, I'm going to have to ask you about the love of your life, right?
and find out what question led to this
Whoa, that's such a hard question.
when we come back.
Talk to your friends, talk to my friends.
The global launch of Taylor Swift's new album, Red, was crafted with platinum precision. From the
Taylor.
buzz-building announcement
You like it?
to the international pre-tour, crescendoing to a launch week frenzy. Each note orchestrated to help Red break records.
Is this a really nerve-wracking time for you?
Almost every time for me is a nerve-wracking time for me because I will find the pressure in every situation and think about it. And my life has become sort of a constant balancing act between, like hope and fear and like faith and worrying and like, being nervous about this album I've worked really hard on and like being proud of this album I've worked really hard on.
For Taylor, her hard work usually pays off big time. She's the only female artist to release 3 #1 albums in a row, each selling more than 5 million copies. Numbers only matched by the likes of the Beatles and Michael Jackson. With such a history of unprecedented success, a new album brings new pressures.
I know the last thing you want to be called is predictable, right?
It's really important for me, for my fans to trust me and to not go so far in the opposite direction that they don't recognize me anymore. It's trying to evolve. It's trying to try new things without becoming a new thing.
Taylor first became a star as a teen, innocently singing Among Butterflies about first kisses. But she's trying not to grow up too fast.
How do you kind of transition from that young girl to a more mature artist?
I think a mistake that sometimes gets made when there's pressure to grow up, you look at that artist and you think, you didn't have to grow up 10 years in a month. No, that wasn't what you had to do. Like,
You didn't have to go boom.
yeah, I want to live a life, and I want to live my life 1 year at a time, and when I'm 22, I want to be 22. When I'm 23, I want to be 23, whatever that is.
There are also developments in her personal life.
Taylor, you know I'm going to have to ask you about the love of your life, right?
Meredith. How did you know I was going to do that? She's just a little fuzzy cat, and she's so cute.
Meredith is the star of Taylor's tweets and a social media sensation. And with this,
You stop petting her.
she meowed her way to over 1 million hits on YouTube.
The thing about Meredith is she's just a cat, so she has no idea. She's really kind of famous. It's hilarious.
Good girl.
But Meredith the cat isn't all that's being talked about. This past summer, rumors of a swift romance with Connor Kennedy were the talk of the town. The paparazzi pursued them with abandon. They called them the new Camelot. Taylor's Summer of Love headlines were endless.
Can I just make one observation, though? It seems like you had a really fun summer. Is that accurate?
It was a great summer. The single came out and did so well, made the album. It was a great summer.
I know you don't talk about your personal life, and I want to respect that. But why are you so private about that?
I think, for me, I just think that my personal stories sound better in a song than in an interview, in quotes.
You, with your words like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me.
She says it all in her songs, but don't expect her to spill her guts about her private life. She doesn't want to talk about it, and she doesn't want to read about it.
It's not about, you know, what gossip is, you know, currently online, because I don't read any of that stuff.
Ever?
Not really, ever. I just have a huge priority on being happy. And for me, happiness does not include like Googling myself and checking what the minute-to-minute perception of me is right now.
For the young woman so in control of every move she makes, it's what she can't control that scares her the most.
Finish this sentence if you could. In 10 years, I will be...
32 and... Whoa, that's such a hard question.
Really?
It's like all my fears come out.
Like what?
Like losing everything, like losing my friends and my family, and like ending up alone and crying and stuff.
Let's take a more positive approach.
In 10 years, I'll hopefully either have a family or know when I want to have one or something.
And professionally?
I have no idea. I just really don't want to do this after people get tired of me. I want to know when that line is.
Drop everything now, leave me alone.
And if I overstay my welcome, I'll go write songs for other people.
And still focus on being happy.
Yeah, I really want to end up happy. That's the biggest thing for me.
The phrase "catch me if you can" comes to mind when you're talking about the one and only Reba McEntire. Make that just Reba, no last name necessary. Just try to keep up with her as she zooms around from concerts to a new sitcom to cheering on her son at the races. But after 3 decades in the business, the finish line is still nowhere in sight. Here's Chris Conley.
For Reba McEntire, it's a very different kind of backstage.
You're raising a great kid.
Oh, I'm very proud of him.
She's in the makeshift garage at a speedway in Monterey, California, as her 21-year-old son Shelby helps to prep the number 51 sports car he's driving in today's race.
It's nerve-wracking. It's really nerve-wracking. It's a little hairy every once in a while.
What do you like to say to him right before he gets behind the wheel?
Drive fast and be safe. And I love you.
Risk-taking is a family trait. Reba has built her career on it.
We heard you introduce yourself to somebody here as Shelby's mom.
Yeah, I'm not Reba McEntire, the singer, the TV actress. Anytime when I come here, I am Shelby's mama. I love you. You love me.
It's always been that way. going back to the days in 1993 when Shelby needed a lot less horsepower.
Shelby's riding all by himself.
Reba needed a lot more hairspray.
Which way did you like it best? Jacked up to Jesus or a little flatter?
Somebody in the next car.
In any style, in every decade, Reba McEntire has flourished.
Reba McEntire.
Reba McEntire.
Hers is one of the most successful show business careers of the last 30 years.
No good two-timing lies coming out of your mouth.
With scores of country hits. Devotion to and from her fan base. Triumphs on TV and even on Broadway in the musical Annie Get Your Gun.
The gals with umbrellas are always out with fellers.
All her life, success has meant taking chances and being doubted. As a child in Oklahoma, she and her siblings were the Singing McEntires. Reba was a barrel racer, trying to emulate her rodeo champion father.
Daddy was like, oh, you're just not good at it. Why are you even doing this? And he asked me one time, he said, Reba, why do you always want to do something you're not good at? I was like, well, that was hurtful, but it was true and it was reality. And when I realized that, that's when I really focused in and honed in on what I was good at, and that was singing.
1974, Reba's rendition of the Star Spangled Banner before the National Rodeo Finals would lead to a Nashville recording deal. Big hits and industry acclaim would follow by the mid-'80s, yet her future would soon be doubted by those closest to her.
In '87, my manager and my husband at the time both kind of said, well, you've kind of peaked. That's it. Might as well just kind of hang it up.
Reba, what's that like to hear from your husband at the time? You've peaked.
Well, it's very hurtful because I just thought I'd gotten my foot in the door. But I thought, but I want that again. I want more of that. Well, no, you probably won't get it. But there's more things I want to do. Well, no, probably not.
Someone else, though, figured that Reba was just getting started. Narvel Blackstock, then her pedal steel player.
One person was always behind me, saying, you know what we could do? It was Narvel.
What's that moment like when you go from someone who you're working with to having an intimate relationship?
It's pretty good. I liked it. When somebody stands behind you, beside you, you know that's the right one. Yeah, it was worth it.
Just once, she had her own doubts.
7 members of
country and western star Reba McEntire's band were killed today.
That tragic night in March of 1991.
When their private plane crashed in a mountain area.
When she lost her touring band in a plane crash.
I just didn't think I could go on.
Why not?
Why would I? How could I get back on stage without them?
Her next album, For My Broken Heart, was a somber tribute to her band that connected with her audience. After 34 albums, Reba is still connecting to her fans. Today, her inner circle includes star Kelly Clarkson. He's managed by Reba's husband and is also dating Brandon Blackstock, Reba's stepson.
I just love to see them together. They are just still so giddy and love. They're meant to be.
She can make his coffee.
Creatively, Reba's still at it, recording, touring, and a week from tonight, re-entering the sitcom world.
Very quiet, please.
With Malibu Country here on ABC.
Marker.
He's Disneyland Dad, and I'm this lame horse ride that you put quarters in the front of a drugstore.
Well, we've seen you do like 5 or 6 scenes. You've got all your lines down. You know what you're doing. Like,
Well, sort of. Ha!
Got you fooled, don't I?
This honest to goodness doctor wrote me a prescription for this. This is a happy lolly.
Mother, singer, actress, entrepreneur, today Reba fearlessly awaits the next opportunity to take a big chance.
when you hear it and when it feels like the right thing, what will it feel like here?
You kind of feel 10 years younger and you know you can do it because it's meant to be.
Love you. Love you.
LeAnn Rimes recently said,
I've felt like I've had a piece of tape over my mouth the last 4 years. Well, tonight, that tape comes off as the star comes clean to me about everything that's gone on in the past few years, lighting up Twitter feeds and tabloid headlines. From Eddie Cibrian to those 30 days in a treatment facility, nothing was off limits.
I was this big voice, this little girl that, you know, no one really knew much about.
Fast forward 17 years, and it seems there isn't anything we don't know about LeAnn Rimes. Over the years, she's garnered media attention for reasons other than her singing career, giving fodder to the tabloids for everything from her weight to her affair and marriage to actor Eddie Cibrian. And recently, LeAnn made headlines for her 30-day stint at a treatment facility. This time, she's determined to tackle the rumors and set the record straight.
You've just completed a 30-day voluntary program, which sparked a lot of rumors that you had an eating disorder, that you had an addiction problem. Why did you seek treatment?
Well, it was the day after I turned 30 that I actually went to the treatment center, and I really was like, you know what, for myself, I think this is the best birthday gift I could ever give myself, is just to once again be honest with myself and break down the things that I've struggled with for so long. And people look at you and go, why are you struggling? You know, no one can quite understand why you hurt so badly. But I'm not gonna cry.
Why do you hurt so badly, you think?
I wasn't a kid. It's as simple as that, and so complicated at the same time. So, you have kids. You get to see your kid be a kid. You know, and I didn't get any of those things.
The 13-year-old phenom seemed to come out of nowhere, and for her family, her golden voice was their ticket out.
We had no money. I was brought home to a trailer when I was a kid. We had nothing. And I was able to buy a house for my family when I was 12, which is a crazy responsibility to have.
She says that responsibility and having to grow up so quickly robbed her of her sense of identity.
And sometimes I really want to just go back to the trailer, honestly. And it really was like the happiest times of my life.
LeAnn Rimes.
Now the price of fame and fortune is something LeAnn is no longer willing to pay.
What do you think is the most important thing you learned while in treatment?
To be comfortable with me. Everything worked around my, around my voice. And it's, if that was taken away, I want to know who I am outside of that.
Not LeAnn the singer.
Not LeAnn Rimes, but LeAnn. Just LeAnn the human being.
And as LeAnn evolves, so does her music. She still loves singing, but now it's for a different reason.
It used to be about hitting high notes and proving I could sing, and it's not about that anymore. It's truly about communication.
Her new album, Spitfire, which will be released this spring, is a musical therapy session of sorts. She's written 8 of the songs, and she's finally getting a lot off her chest.
I could show you how it's done. We could have a little fun. Better bring a big gun.
At a concert, you said, quote, I'm pissed off at a lot of things, and I just can't say it, so it comes out in the music. Is that your current state of mind, do you think? Kind of, yeah. I mean, I feel like you've been bottled up for so long, and now you're just like, bleh.
It is. That's why the album's called Spitfire, because I literally feel like at times I'm spitting fire.
You make me want to spitfire, 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 spitfire.
Angry at times and apologetic at others, like What Have I Done? A song of contrition to her ex-husband, Dean.
Oh, my love, what have I done?
I've carried a lot of guilt for a long time, I think.
Has your ex-husband heard this song?
Yeah, he actually heard it when I wrote it, and I think probably knew what it was about before I did.
There's another about her extramarital affair with now husband Eddie, an affair that spawned hundreds of tabloid headlines and branded her a homewrecker.
There's a song called Borrowed that I was so unsure of how to write it without offending anyone, because I had to be so honest in order to write it.
I know you're not mine, only borrowed.
When you you wrote that song, were you talking about your fear of losing him today?
Not at all. Now, do I have a fear of losing most people that I love anyway? Absolutely, but not him. I love that man more than anything.
She and Eddie were married last year.
You tweet a lot about marital bliss, things like sweats, pork roast with veggies, my hubby, heaven.
I really relish in that, and I'm not joking when I say I love being my sweats, and I love cooking dinner, and I love just being home with family.
Leanne is not only a wife, but also a stepmother to Eddie's 2 sons, Mason and Jake.
Would you like to have more kids?
I would love to have a child of my own, but for now, I'm totally happy with having his running around.
As you look ahead to this new decade, your 30s, if you could write the lyrics of your life, I mean, what would those sound like?
Meaningful, heartfelt, fearless, full of fear at the same time. I just want to feel everything, and I want to write about it all.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, take 3 great singers, throw in a late-night phone call, a couple of drinks, mix well, and what do you end up with? The Pistol Annies. With Miranda Lambert as one of the trio, they're girl power ×3, kicking up a little hell in high heels. Here's Amy Robach.
Ashley Monroe and Angelina Presley are 2/3 of the singing group Pistol Annies. They're long on talent, but short on experience. If it goes bad tonight, 13,000 fans are sure to let them know about it. The other Pistol Annie is their not-so-secret weapon. Miranda Lambert is the blonde bombshell in boots with a tough Texas attitude. Together, they've come out of nowhere to find critical acclaim and commercial success. Before this show in Atlanta, we sat down backstage to talk friendship, high-profile romance, and these nasty vices the women love to sing about.
One's drinking, one's smoking, one's taking pills. Did I hear something about whiskey shots before you go on?
Oh, gosh.
It's kind of a new thing we started. We do cinnamon whiskey shot.
A cinnamon whiskey shot? I didn't even know there was such a thing.
We really had to think this through. We thought, how can we feel a little buzz?
I'm a pro. I can drink the whole time. I'm good.
Miranda Lambert.
The pro is a Grammy winner and the CMA's reigning female vocalist of the year. The rookies were essentially Nashville songwriters with a dream of making it big.
Not a lot of artists would be able to do that. They wouldn't want to share the stage.
No.
She has plucked many an artist out of obscurity
and
said, here, Nashville, here, look at this one.
We're all about letting the other one shine, too. I mean, it's an us.
Yeah.
The ladies joined forces nearly 2 years ago and have been touring with Miranda's show ever since. They recently found themselves performing for a woman they idolized growing up, Loretta Lynn.
To have that moment, and I could see myself down in the front of the stage when I was 17 screaming for Loretta, like, yeah. And I knew that night she was going to be in the front row screaming for me, and it just, my head almost popped off my body.
The Pistol Annies borrow liberally from some tried and true country music themes and make no apologies for it.
She mixes up a double at the break of every
I love a happy song here and there, but when I'm going through a bad time, a happy song pisses me off. I'm like, where's the cheating and drinking songs? I feel like crap today. You know what I mean?
Big smile, ladies.
Presley and Monroe have quickly learned that Lambert's a pistol in more ways than one.
So, do I need to come down there and kick one of y'all's ass? Because I would be more than obliged to, honey.
I've seen her do that several times.
No, I just don't want the whole crowd to, be disrupted by a couple of drunk idiots. So I have to make sure that they know what we're all here for.
Bravo! Pistol Ladies are awesome!
All of our friends were texting us, helping us think of names. I was actually in the tanning bed. And I was like, Pistol Annies. And I text the girls. I was like, what about Pistol Annies? They were like, yes. And I was like, okay.
After they found a name, they went off for some Pistol Annie bonding, a hunting trip on this episode of Tom's Wildlife.
Who shoots the best?
Miranda loves the outdoors, and Angelina may know one end of a gun from the other. But then there's the gal they call Hippie Annie.
She hunted for 3 days, from dusk till dawn.
Woo! Did I hit something? I like to hunt with a little lip gloss in my pockets.
Before the show, we took aim at a different target.
Cornhole. Basically, whoever's bag gets closer to the hole gets a point.
The game is popular with the band while on the road. Bean bags were flying everywhere but in the hole. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the taping of this cornhole game.
Game, teammate. You did great.
When it comes to romance, all the ladies are officially off the market. The woman nicknamed Holler Annie for her roots in the Kentucky mountains married tour manager Jordan Powell.
He's so sweet and so good at what he does too. And so that whole night I felt so taken care of, and like I told Miranda, I was like, he has been so sweet to me. I feel like I need to sleep with him.
I was like, oh Lord, here we go.
No, girl, no.
I was like, don't start that already.
I was just kidding.
Ashley Monroe recently said yes to baseball player John Danks. He spelled out his intentions with the words, "Will you marry me?" in rose petals on her bed.
He's my best friend in the world.
Our friend, he had wanted to set them up for a while, and it turned out really good.
I really like him a lot.
And wait, I don't know, who are you married to?
I'm married to Blake Shelton.
Lampert and Blake Shelton are country's power couple. He's also one of the judges on The Voice, but sounds like he'd be wise to keep his voice down when critiquing the Annies.
Does he make comments? Does he make suggestions?
No, he would never do.
We'd claw his own eye out.
Kind of still learning as we go, but we know we want to keep going.
You've just seen some of the best in the business, but did we include your favorite country female? If we didn't, don't worry, because we've still got the incredible Carrie Underwood to close us out. She's in the middle of her record-breaking cross-country Blown Away tour, and she's about to find out who other stars have been blown away by over the years. We caught up with Carrie at the Staples Center in L.A.
Hello, Katie. Hello, everyone. I'm joining you from the middle of my tour. I've loved being on the road this fall and having the opportunity for us to see so many fans each night. I first got the chance to perform before many millions of people when I was on American Idol. But I grew up with country music in my heart. And for me, the night I joined the Grand Ole Opry was a crowning achievement in my career. God bless you. And it means so much to me because it's the heart of country music. It also meant so much because so many great women have graced that sacred stage. At the heart of country music is the voice, and the women of country make for one powerful chorus of inspiration. For some of my Nashville friends, their favorite country female inspiration is a classic choice. They Fall to Pieces over Patsy Cline.
When I was in college and I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me, and she broke up with me, and I went and I put on She's Got You about 37 times in a row and cried the whole time. Well, let's do it, and love Patsy Cline. I'm gonna cry right now.
The coal miner's daughter, Loretta Lynn, has a very personal songwriting style that inspires all who follow.
She always wrote her truth and about her life, and she's just down to earth and just a really, really special person.
Singing out for the girls everywhere, my friend Martina McBride is herself the favorite of many, including Little Big Town.
You can't help but think about this category and not mention Martina McBride. I mean, the singer of all singers, and she's such a dear friend of ours.
For me, I can't just pick one favorite, but Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire are always near the top of my list. Touring, television, movies, they do it all. And I'm not the only one who loves these ladies. Country star Luke Bryan has a hard time choosing two.
I would definitely say Reba would be up there. It's kind of her and Dolly Parton for me. You hear stories of how Reba is in her meet and greets. You know, when I meet people, I want to engage them like Reba engages you.
One of my favorite female country artists probably got to be Reba.
She's done Broadway, she's done television. She goes on stage as good as any headliner ever.
You can't talk about country music women without mentioning Dolly Parton. We have a dream of doing a duet with her someday. So, yeah, Dolly.
Collective band crush on Dolly Parton.
Yes. I feel like she's one of the best artists that we've ever had in country music. Great songwriter and somebody that's taken her career in a lot of different directions, from acting to opening a theme park. I mean, she's just constantly kind of changing.
The stars of ABC's Nashville take their vocal inspiration from some of Music City's leading ladies.
An artist who I have just been inspired by and loved my whole life is Bonnie Raitt. She transcends all different kinds of music.
I'd probably have to go with Miranda Lambert. She's got that edge that I relate to, but she also has those amazingly heartfelt songs and those beautiful lyrics. One of my favorite songs of all time is Hell on Heels. I'm hell on heels. I like that sass. I like that edge.
With so many strong voices, everyone has their own favorite.
I'm going to say Shania Twain. We had a chance to perform with her.
Shania is amazing.
Amazing singer.
I'm going to bump forward to current Carrie Underwood.
Lightning cracks across the sky.
I think she's phenomenally talented, beautiful.
My favorite female country music artist is Carrie Underwood, unless she's mean to me this year at the CMAs, and then I'm going to change it.
She's just a great person to look up to. I got to sing with her at the finale of American Idol, which made my life.
Thanks, Carrie, and thank all of you for